This is Equatorial Guinea's National Radio, Radio Malabo, and English Without Barriers start now. I am interested in traveling to the United States of America, but unfortunately nowadays there is something called travel bans, and many countries are affected. We have three tiers. We have red tiers, orange and yellow, and the Republic of Equatorial Guinea is in the yellow tier. So today we're going to talk about this issue, and I'm so pleased, and I can say it's an honor for us receiving the consular officer, Mr. Saul Leira. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you? Thank you for having me.
I'm all the pleasure is mine. So, what is the presidential proclamation, and why is Equatorial Guinea included?
So, the presidential proclamation that was implemented on June 4th restricts the entry to nationals of a specific list of countries, like you mentioned earlier, and Equatorial Guinea is listed under some concerns over high visa overstay of Equatorial Guineans who travel to the United States. And the reason why it's very important that we have these conversations is to educate the public about the significant visa misuse that the Department of Homeland Security has been reporting to the Department of State, and particularly for student visa holders who overstay and they're violating visa terms in the United States.
That's great. And while listening to you speaking, I'm trying to figure out what my people may be thinking now, because sometimes when we talk about visa and we have a long period, people unfortunately think that, okay, with this, I can go and sleep there and stay there. So what does this mean for Equatorial Guinea?
So basically, most visa categories will have a validity period. But if, for example, in this case, if you're planning to study in the United States, you need to be aware of the program that you're going to be attending. You know, the requirements, the financial requirements, also the duration of the program, and understand that's the first step. You know, aside from the academic purposes of you traveling to the United States. Once you have enrolled into the program, you go to the United States with a proof F1 visa. If you're a student, you should be enrolled in the program while you stay there. You're not authorized to work. And what I've been seeing is that a lot of students from Equatorial Guinea, they're been traveling to the United States with a student visa. They do not attend the program they intend to study in the United States.
Really?
And then in some cases they work, and that's the report that we're getting from Homeland Security.
I'm sorry to just jump in. They go and they don't attend what exactly they want.
They don't attend the program they intended to.
Okay, this is sound word.
Study, yes.
This is sound word. But what I know that in many African countries, not only African countries, in many countries in the world, this happen in the sense that, okay, when someone travels, definitely you overstay, and this is a problem. I just want to think about this is a problem that really led this decision proclamation. Okay, that's great.
One of the reasons, yes.
One of the reasons.
Yes.
Okay, so let's talk about compliance. What advice do you have for Equatorial Guineans applying for U.S. visa or currently living in the U.S.?
Yes. So basically, if you are applying for an F1 student visa, the program will have a validity of the program you're going to be intending to study, and you need to be aware of the cost. So you need to make sure that you can afford the program you intend to study, and you need to understand that by going to the United States on an F1 visa, you're solely going with the purpose of studying in the United States. Work is not authorized in the United States under the F1 visa student category. And basically you have to stay enrolled in your program and leave the United States when your program ends.
What I try to understand, now we're talking about student visa, and sometimes when it comes to that, we as parents, we think that, okay, sometimes due to economic reason, we used to think that, okay, when the person or the child is there, it will be very easy, can do smaller jobs. So it's not authorized at all, even smaller jobs in order to...
It's not authorized. There's work studies there's work that you can be authorized to perform at the university, but a lot of these programs don't include that option. So if you are intending to study in the United States, you need to honestly analyze your financial capability. What are your funding sources? And make sure that you have the appropriate funding, because you shouldn't be counting to be able to work in the United States when you're going on a student visa. That's not part of the plan for the F1.
Yeah.
The purpose for the F1 student visa program is to go study in the United States, not work and study in the United States.
Avoiding overstaying, what does it mean concretely? I would like us to go even deeper so that people can understand exactly what does it mean.
Right. So when you are issued a visa to the United States, we talk about the F1 visa, which is for students. You get a validity for the visa, and then you have validity. Then you have the duration of the program. How long is your program, academic program, is going to be for, right? If you stay beyond that period, then you're overstaying that the validity of the visa and the duration of the program, right? Now, if we're talking about B1, B2s, visa for tourism or for pleasure, you're supposed to be responsible to check how long you're authorized to stay in the United States, because the visa is just your authorization to request authorization from Homeland Security in the United States at the port of entry. They would let you know how long you can stay in the United States. So there's a I-94 form online, and there's actually a website where you can download. There's an app, and you can also check what is your admit until date. Admit until date is how long Homeland Security is authorizing you to stay in the United States. Okay. So the visa is letting you request entry to the United States by Homeland Security, and that information is on your I-94.
That's great. I think that is clear, but I will just say it in few words, maybe just to clarify certain things. You're traveling to the U.S. For a specific study, and it's just 3 weeks. Just 3 weeks. The length of the study.
Okay.
3 weeks.
So if you're going for like a short academic program,
yes, academic program, 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Okay. If we're talking about going for studies for maybe 1 year, okay. After this period, you are not authorized to stay in the United States. Is exactly what he's saying.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
That's clear. So definitely, what are the consequences of overstaying in the U.S.?
Well, that's if you're overstaying the duration of the program, and you're overstaying until the admission date that you were authorized by Homeland Security, that basically is saying that the law is you're breaking the law, and your visa can be revoked, you can be deported, and you could not be eligible for a visa in the future. And if you are not following U.S. immigration law, when you are applying for a visa again, that may be derogatory information that is going to be in the system. So the next consular officer at the embassy may use that information to not find you eligible for another visa.
Sometimes it's somehow confused for people to understand all those stuff, and we lack many information when it comes to traveling to the U.S. or another part of the world. We used to comment. When I say we, because this happened to me as well. Yeah. So we used to comment that since I've got the 5-year visa, I can go and stay and until 5 years. No, which is not true. We just listened to what you've said earlier, and talking about studies. Once your studies concluded, you have to return. If not, in the next time, you won't be. You cannot be allowed to travel anymore in the United States. So, these are some of the consequences that someone can face. Are there other ones that you think that could affect people who overstay in the United States?
Other consequences?
Apart of what we've mentioned.
Well, deportation is a serious one.
Yeah.
You can be deported by Homeland Security because you're breaking immigration law. You could face a permanent ineligibility, which means that if you are breaking immigration law, the next consular officer if they see this information, they might find you not eligible.
Okay. Permanent means that for how long can we have?
Permanent ineligibility means permanent, forever.
Forever.
Yes. Permanent is forever.
No. It's quite important to say so, because when we say permanent, someone can say, okay, it's something for maybe 3 years or 5 years, but definitely for.
Once you are misrepresenting yourself with information under immigration and the National Act, you're being misrepresented on the information that you are presenting to an officer, either at the consular officer in the embassy or immigration officer at the port of entry. That's already considered misrepresentation, and those are the consequences of basically lying to an officer.
Lie. Why is a student visa issue, which is a concern?
Because it has been one of the highest overstay rates that we've seen in recent history of Equatorial Guinea, and is raising concerns from Washington. So Washington has raised these concerns because Homeland Security reported to the White House, and the White House has made recommendations on the visa restrictions for certain countries, and this is why we have to address these issues in these countries to make sure the public understands that a visa is for the intended purpose of the category. If it's for student, it's to study, and it's for tourism purposes or pleasure or business, it's for those purposes only. It's not to go to the United States and work.
So among the type of visa, this is the one that stand out.
B1, B2 was also higher than the normal rate, yes. But the highest one was for students.
For students, that's great. You're listening to Equatorial Guinea State Radio. The program is English Without Barriers every Tuesday and Thursday at the same time, 11 to 12 noon. So feel free to join us. You can send your message to 555-27, 57, and 22, or you can call if you would like to do so. We are here trying to bring you more information regarding this issue. So let's move to new measures for student visa applicants. So what new measures are being implemented for student visa applicants?
Well, basically we're doing this right now, providing information, clarifying about the requirements, focus on traveling to United States for the intended purpose. What is your purpose? To go study in the United States. Make sure the first thing is to qualify. I see a lot of students applying for F1s when they think that by providing an application and showing up to the interview, that's an automatic approval for a visa. You need to show that you have enough financial capabilities to be able to sustain your studies in the United States. Your living expenses. It's very expensive to live in the United States and to pay rent and to buy groceries and pay all the utilities, right? But also to have a clear academic intent. If you are trying to stay in the United States and you're telling me during an interview that it's one of the most competitive and recognized programs that you're intending to study, to attend, show me during an interview that you also have the academic background to be able to study in the United States. So we're looking at financial capabilities, but also academic intent. If you're not able to explain to me the purpose of your academic purposes in the United States, and you're not sure about why you want to go to the United States to study that specific program, that's a clear alert for me that you're not really intending to study in the United States. So if you are trying to study in the United States, make sure that you also understand that you have to be eligible. If you're not eligible to study in the United States, there might be other countries where you may be eligible to, financially sustain yourself, but also be able to have an academic background to study in those countries.
Basically,
right, in
those
the United
are
States.
the two major requirements?
Yes, yeah. Be able to financially sustain yourself, which is, United States programs are really expensive. Are you able to pay $40,000 to study English in the United States? Okay? Yeah. And also, are you able to pay for your expenses And why do you want to study English in the United States if you have never studied English before? That's something that it's not a really clear academic intent to just go study English in the United States, because you could have studied before, and you can use those $40,000 towards a bachelor's degree, for example.
Apart from speaking, from talking, from trying to convince the council, people have to bring in documents in order to show that to them.
You're not trying to convince the officer. You're just showing that you have the eligibility and the intent to go to the United States. You know, you need to meet the requirements. You're not trying to convince the officer.
You might understand that while talking, or when I'm talking like this, it's just because I'm in the shoes of those. And as I've said earlier, we used to speak like this. We used to think, okay, you have to show that you have enough money, maybe bringing your banking account in order to show that, okay, I have enough money as to sustain myself. That's why I'm trying to explain this in this way, so that maybe people can understand.
So the issue is that there's a lot of fake documents that are circulating and the people are able to obtain. So those fake documents are basically misrepresenting the travel intentions. I've seen a lot of applicants that would academically and during the interview they would qualify, but then they provide fake documents. And you know, what does that mean to us? That's me representing and lying to the officer, and they're trying to. That's showing that the intent is not solely to study in the United States. If they're lying about one aspect of the interview, how do I know if they're being honest about the rest of the information they provided during the interview?
Unfortunately, many people lie a lot. Unfortunately,
right? Yeah.
And when it comes to this issue, we're talking about visa. We always think that, okay, by lying, maybe this will help us, but the consequences sometimes are more than what exactly we're thinking. So, what happens if someone breaks U.S. Real law while, let's say, while on a visa?
So this is, I mean, and honestly, you know, I've seen students who, during the interview, I'm able to get all the information that I need according to the Immigration National Act law that would, you know, make them eligible. But then when you're trying to verify the rest of the information, if they are providing fake documents, the consequences could be lifetime ban to travel to the United States, and in some cases, it can also be persecuted by as a criminal charges. Yes. Yeah.
This is a part of Program is English without barrier. Feel free to join us, maybe by calling or sending message, and we'll try to, let's say, bring you more details on what exactly what you would like to know. So what is visa fraud, and why is this such a serious issue?
It's a serious issue because for us, it's basically misrepresenting information about you, which means that you're lying about yourself and your intents. So if you are going to somebody who's helping you and they provide you with all fake documents for your visa interview, and then during the interview you provide those fake documents, those documents, if they're detected as fraudulent documents, they can affect you for a lifetime. And you cannot go back and just try to apply again and pretend like that didn't happen before, because we keep records for all that information.
Definitely.
So even if after I complete my assignment here, the next officer is going to know that you came last year, 2 years ago, and provided fake documents. So that's already damaging your record. So just think about it twice. And this information is also for parents. Sometimes they think they're helping their children by providing fake documentation, and in most of the cases they really cannot afford it. And are they really willing to put their children at risk by providing fake documents, damaging their historical records for visas, and also put their children in circumstances where they're going to go to the United States, for example, not be able to afford it? And what are going to be the consequences for that? You know, their visa being revoked, being deported. That's something that parents need to be very careful and mindful when they're getting assistance from people that they're promising them that by getting specific documents they're going to get a visa.
Yeah. Right on the embassy, are there specific measures that you can detect? Because it looks like, listening to you talking, it looks like, okay, people provide fake document, and despite of that, they can go, but behind. The embassy noticed that, okay, these are fake documents. So are there specific manners or way in order to detect that right at the scene when someone is applying for visa?
Yeah, I mean, we're all trained to detect those documents and information.
Yeah.
So we're trained, and we're constantly taking refresher trainings on how to detect the type of fraudulent documents.
And let's say almost at the end, what should someone do if they know about visa fraud?
So they can always report it to our office. We have an email, a public email that you can report it to our office. It's really important that you report it to us if you're a victim of fraud or a scam by anybody in Malabo or in Bata. That way we can actually report it to the appropriate authorities.
Equatorial is every day. The program is English with Alba. Let's have a very, very short break, and then we'll get back to you. Now, would you please give us advice for Equatorians affected by this situation?
So it's very important that you are constantly checking for updates on our social media accounts for the U.S. Embassy in Malabo. We're on Instagram, Facebook, X. We are updating the public on specific information for Equatorial Guineans on what's the most current information right now. So if the presidential proclamation is still in place, that means that visa restrictions are being in place for Equatorial Guineans. We're working with the government of Equatorial Guinea on ways to improve and hopefully this proclamation be lifted. But it's going to be a process to be able to report to Washington on how we've been working with the government, on how we're informing the public on how to avoid overstaying the United States, respecting the law, and how to consult for information as well. Every time you're applying for a visa, you need to make sure that you have the information from the source of information. In this case, for Equatorial Guineans, the U.S. Embassy websites in Malabo, and also travelthestate.gov. We're always listing our websites everywhere, and I would recommend everybody to stay informed themselves or with through a family member to always check our websites to have the most accurate and most recent updates on the information.
Okay, that's great. Please, I would love to understand something. Those who unfortunately are passing through other people, in order to try to get visa, unfortunately, they're not on the front line. They're not the one checking, doing other stuff. What would be your advice to them?
I mean, my advice is to find somebody that they trust, because sometimes you need assistance with filling out an application. But just make sure you always report it. Somebody help you, but also just check yourself, verify the information yourself. You have to verify that the information that person is telling you is real by verifying that information on our website as well.
That's great. So, have there been recent dialogue between the U.S. government with Equatorians in order to try to maybe solve the situation, in order to hand over more information so that they can maybe move from yellow tier to another one?
Yeah, no, we are in constant communication with the government, and we're working very closely with the government. The government is committed to work with us to support Equatorial Guineans to be able to travel to the United States. We welcome legitimate travel to the United States, and that's the information that we're trying to work with the government to make sure that we're working together to support Equatorial Guinean nationals to be able to travel without any further issues into the United States. So we're in constant communication, dialogue, and this is one of the first steps to continue engaging with the government to hopefully get this lifted when in a very reasonable timeline.
You've said it. By then, visa issue right now in Equatorial Guinea are canceled.
Right now, there's a visa restriction for Equatorial Guineans.
Not canceled.
They're restricted from getting visas. If
Yeah.
you already have a visa prior to June 9th, then you have not violated your overstay in the United States. You travel well before. You had legitimate travel history to the United States. So you had a visa prior to June 4 or 9, 2025. You can travel to the United States, and that's not an issue. If you don't have a visa and you intend to study or travel for tourism or business, then those visas, all the other categories are restricted.
Until the proclamation?
It's lifted. Yes.
Some people interpret a tier classification as a political statement. Is it right now?
No, it's basically we're giving you all the information on the reasons why the White House is considering all the countries to be in those categories. There's other countries that have other reasons aside from overstays as well. So we are looking at all different areas for those countries to why they're listed. Equatorial Guinea and are misusing those visas categories, and that's one of the reasons why. So that's the information that was available for the White House, provided by Homeland Security.
This is Equatorial Guinea State Radio, and the program is English Without Barriers. Almost at the end of the interview. Let's have a very, very short break and then return talking to you. This is Equatorial Guinea State Radio, and the program is English Without Barriers. We're live. If you can join us, if you would like to join us, please feel free. 333-092-260, or just send a message at 222 or 555 27 57 22. Finally, Council, what message would you like to share with young people and professionals in Equatorial Guinea who aspire to visit or study in the United States despite current restriction?
Yes, so I mean, it's good to be patient and keep preparing yourself academically and understand that this process is still in place. So this restriction is still in place for visa issuance. So don't just be patient and try to make sure you're prepared to study in the United States. Focus on studying 4-year programs, be admitted to a 4-year university. If you already have a bachelor's degree from Equatorial Guinea, then apply for admissions to a master's degree, and make sure you have the funding to be able to study in the United States. It's very important that you're not just applying to study in the United States for academic purposes. Make sure you can also support it.
Yeah.
Make sure you can support your studies in the United States.
When you say starting your process early, is something that is included is also the English language. As sometimes people think that, okay, I'm through, I'm done now, I'm going to the United States. The first step is about studying the English and then moving to my career.
Yes. So what we're seeing is that a lot of students think that they need to study English in the United States and then start their university studies after they complete their English programs. They can study English in Equatorial Guinea or in other countries, and they would save a lot of money and save that money to invest it towards a 4-year program instead of going to the United States to study and spend $30,000-$40,000 to study English, if they can even afford it, and then be in maybe unfortunate economic circumstances, they cannot afford it, and then they're forced to work in the United States, which is not allowed to work and study in the United States. So it's very important to be prepared, to do research, get familiarized with what the requirements are, what the process is, to make sure you're not in violation of any of the U.S. immigration laws.
Well, Consul, thank you very much for coming. That's it for today's program.
Thank you for having me.
Until Tuesday, 11 a.m., my twin, Mateo, will be here in order to entertain you. Have a wonderful and great day. Goodbye.